So you want to learn how to play Arcanist. This is an advanced guide, so I'll be teaching you all the tips and tricks that I know that I apply in raids. Let's get you that Crow Fighter MVP. So since this is an advanced guide, I'm gonna assume that you know the basics like first skill rotation and cards. I would assume your engravings, gems, skills, tripods, these all match the Lost Ark Nexus builds. If not, go to that Lost Ark Nexus website and get your build complete before continuing this video. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the set. So there's a lot of sets that you can go. Right now, okay, so right now it's 6-piece. So we'll start with 6-piece Nightmare. That is the most cookie cutter build, vanilla build you can ever go on Arcana. If you want to just do the basic, no stress, just let's go into the raid and have fun, 6-piece Nightmare is for you. It does great damage. It is perfect for Arcana because we want that Boundless. And overall, there's nothing else you need to do other than to Awakening at the start of the raid. So if that's you, go for 6-piece Nightmare. Now, what I do is I do 4-piece Nightmare to Dominion. The reason why is this is the highest damage that you can do on Arcana. Now, what's the difference? So 6-piece, like I mentioned, you just have to Awakening at the start of the raid. Never have to worry about Awakening ever again. 4-piece Nightmare to Dom is a little bit different because yes, you have to start Awakening in the beginning because you still have to trigger that Nightmare set. But now, since you have 2 Dom, you need to constantly refresh the Dominion by Awakening, because Dominion is also triggered by Awakening, but that has a cooldown. Nightmare does not have a cooldown. So it's a little bit trickier for that extra piece of damage. So again, if you're a new player or you don't really care about that stuff, you're lazy, go for the 6-piece Nightmare. If you want to do the highest damage, 4-piece Nightmare to Dominion is what I do. I've tested it. It's definitely better. But you need to Awakening after your Dominion cooldown is starting to get to 0. So you have to keep track of that. There's also for Dominion to Nightmare. This was something I used before all the star card changes. So if you remember, this star card used to give you mana back, which was bad for Arcana because we want to get into Boundless, which means to get to the lowest mana as possible. Now Star freezes your mana, which benefits Nightmare set a lot more because now you can stay in Boundless for a lot longer. In this case, it'll freeze for 12 extra seconds. So you don't need 4 Dominion to Nightmare anymore. 4 Dominion to Nightmare was the counter star card. Now you don't really need it. I do know the Checkmate build, so I'm not going to talk about the Checkmate build here because I've tried it one time. I didn't like it. If you want Checkmate build, you probably have to go somewhere else. But for the most part, this is a pure Emperor Arcana guide for the vast majority of people who don't go Checkmate. For Dominion to Nightmare, you also need to have Conviction Judgment as your runes, which is something that's just terrible because sometimes it doesn't proc. Let's forget about 4 Dom to Nightmare. And even more, let's forget about 6 Dominion. This set, just do not touch it. You will run out of mana so fast, and it's just not worth it. You're not going to be able to cast any of your skills. I actually tried to do 6 Dominion set as a troll when I had a Summoner and Artist in my party, which are 2 notorious classes that give you a lot of mana and bad for Arcana. I still ran out of mana, so you know what? Either choose 6 Nightmare or 4 Nightmare to Dom. That's about it. So now let's talk a little bit more about 4 Nightmare to Dom. So how do we deal with the Awakening here? So let me quickly go into Trixion and I'll show you all. All right. So now that we're in Trixion, here's my character. Equipped the 4-piece Nightmare and 2 Dom. So what you want to do at the start of the raid, so when you're in that fountain area, is you'll see some Koreans use this, maybe not. So here's me kind of telling you why the thought process is here. You want to equip. So normally you press Alt I, right? Oh yeah, right here. This engraving effect. You can click Awakening to equip it, but you can also Alt right click to equip the other one. So right click for the first one, Alt right click for the second one, and you'll get, I mean, I guess my engravings are wrong here, but you will get level 15 or level 3, sorry, Awakening, 15 nodes of Awakening. This will reduce your cooldown by 50% for your Awakening. The reason why you do this is because as you're in the raid, you're going to want your Awakening back off cooldown so that you can use it once your Dominion is about to run out, basically. If you don't do this, your Awakening will be too long. Like if you see here, the cooldown is 5 minutes long, just base for the Awakening. And Dominion set here. Okay, so it says cooldown 20%. Okay, great. But it only, Inner Awakening only lasts for 2 minutes. So, 5 minutes with a 20% cooldown reduction still is higher than 2 minutes, correct? So you will not be able to refresh and use your Awakening again by the time your Dominion runs out. That's why at the start of the raid, you must Awakening both with your engraving, have it at level 3, Awakening, and then equip your gear again. But I would also recommend this, so this is a little bit more of an advanced tip. I would, as your Awakening is going off, so you equip this, so this is what I do. Equip, Awakening, and as soon as I'm just spamming Order of the Emperor with right click. So even though Awakening is here, I still have Order of the Emperor. The reason why is because Awakening gives you card sets, correct? If you have no engraving of Order of the Emperor, you could get, Balance, Judgment, these cards that are specific to Empress. We do not want that. So that's why as soon as you Awakening, spam right click on Order of the Emperor to equip it as soon as you can, because the cards are shown after the Awakening animation ends. Does that make sense? I hope that does. So once you equip Order of the Emperor, then you can slowly Alt right click on Grudge or whatever your engraving is that you want to replace, and there you go. You'll have your set again, but now you'll have this right here, Inner Awakening with a 2-minute cooldown timer, and your Awakening is already, ticking down because it was at half. So that's kind of the idea here. Yeah, so any questions about Fort Nightmare 2 Dumb, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, let's move on to Stream of Edge start versus Evoke start. So in the past, this Evoke used to detonate so much slower. I believe, yeah, so it says for 3 seconds, Evoke can be used 2 times. I believe this was maybe 4 seconds or something like that. So we got the cooldown of Evoke to detonate at a shorter time. This was very necessary because it took too long for these Evokes to detonate. Even now, it's still a little bit of a delay, right? So in a real-time raid, bosses will be moving around. You'll be missing Evokes all the time. So that's why they gave this a nerf. So that's where this kind of conversation sparks of, okay, well, what do we do now? Because the original rotation was to cast your Evokes first, apply your crit synergies, and then just spam all your abilities for your first rotation, right? And get into Boundless on your first rotation. Well, let's see if that's still the case. So let me recover my resources. Okay. So when you pop Stream of Edge, you're going to start seeing these stacks. It goes up to 5 stacks. And this is the bread and butter of your class. Well, I mean, to be fair, also with Return. But Stream of Edge gives you a lot of crit that you need. But it stacks, unfortunately. So if you pop your Evoke first, and then you Stream of Edge like usual, it's going to detonate at X4 instead of X5, which is the max. So you're losing out on that slight extra crit rate for your first Evoke. Now, this is an advanced guy, so you might be saying, well, so what, 5% crit rate? Oh. Well, in an advanced guide, I'm hoping to kind of share why people are starting to say Stream of Edge first, then throw all your stuff, right? That way you have your max crit before your Evoke detonates. I hope that makes sense. And I'll show you again in real time here. Try to pay attention to when the first Evoke hits. It should be at X4. Okay. You can see it. I'll show you one more time. Let's get this out here. Now, it hits at exactly the X4. So it's a little bit picky. Your choice. If you want to continue with the same rotations, I mean, sometimes I do out of pure muscle memory. It's not going to impact your DPS that much, but it is good practice to kind of, you know, get those little edges on everything so that you can maximize your character's. Okay, that kind of leads us, that's a good segue into uptime. Now, unfortunately, this needs practice. All I can really say is uptime, but it is up to you to practice this character and really just, you know, spam all your abilities on cooldown. Everything should be on cooldown no matter what, and as long as you're doing that and hitting the boss, you know, you'll be better than, or you'll be at least above average for Arcana players. That is the most important thing, because too many times I see skills that are not being used. So somebody's doing this, right? And they're not using their Celestial, and then they have to go back because they're casting too slow. And then they're doing that, and then finally they overstack their Call of Destiny, and then they finally proc it with Celestial Rain. No, we want everything on cooldown as soon as possible. We want it to go on and off cooldown, always. The uptime. You need to practice this. What I would do is record your gameplay and check to see which skills are off cooldown and adjust, right? So, and in particularly, if your stream and return are not constantly on cooldown like this in your raids, big problem. You're not getting the crit rate, but also you're not applying your crit damage synergy over here. 77.5% for 5 seconds. You need this or you're going to be doing no damage, fortunately. So make sure, I mean, all of your skills should be on cooldown, but these two, Stream of Edge and Return, must be on cooldown all the time. Okay, next. We're gonna go kind of quick here because it's already been 13 minutes. Okay, let me speed up a little bit here. Unlimited shuffle, animation cancel. You'll see some people do this and cancel using spacebar. Why are they doing this? You're wasting all the extra damage that you're getting from the last tick, right? Well, the reason why is because sometimes when you're in Boundless, by the way, your skills are going to be back up very quickly, especially in Boundless. So if you're, look how long this skill takes. It's way too long, right? It's way too long, and the damage is not the greatest. I mean, it's multi-hit, so you're still gonna get some damage off, but you don't necessarily need that last tick of damage. It's not gonna make a big impact, right? Remember what I said. You want all of your skills on cooldown. So if your Evoke is back up and you're in mid animation, right? You're wasting time for your Evoke to be off cooldown, or on cooldown, sorry. You should be using Evoke as soon as it's up. Actually, these two, Dark Resurrection and Evoke, these should be always on cooldown so that you can get them back up and use it again. That's the whole idea of Arcana, right? You want to keep using your skills over and over again, because guess what? If you mess up even a little bit, that Full Moon Soul Eater, that Igniter Sork over there is gonna press 3 buttons, do 1 billion damage in their rotation, and then sit back and drink their Kool-Aid while you're here working your ass off and missing your skills and hitting, you know, 700 mil in 20 different key inputs, right? So you need to keep doing that in order to stay competitive with these brain dead spec classes. And so yeah, so if let's say you're just playing, right? playing. You got into Boundless here. And let's go. So we're doing this. We're just gonna keep going. Okay. See, nothing on cooldown, so I'm gonna let it go, and then I go. Right? But at a certain point, in certain situations, there's gonna be a time when your animation. See, here, I would have just space barred to cancel my animation. Here, nothing on cooldown, so I just complete the entire thing. Like this. And I just keep going. Yeah, you want all your skills to be off cooldown. Or on cooldown, sorry. Like this. See? All the time. Everything should be on cooldown. See here, I'm gonna skip so I can apply synergy and do that. Right? Always do that. Is to skip your unlimited shuffle if your skills are coming back up soon. Next. You must get into Boundless after first rotation. I didn't mention this before. This is more of a basic guide or a basic tip, but it's kind of a no-brainer. It's like, duh. But if you miss that Boundless timing because you casted your skills a little bit too slow in your first rotation, it's all for naught. You lose. So really just, you need to spam everything quickly, right? After this, you're mysterious. Look, Boundless MP. Now you're in Boundless. Now you can start, and whatever is back off cooldown, you go. See, I'm gonna spacebar cancel there for this the Celestial Rain, like that. Does that make sense? I hope that does. Let's move on. For the most part, cards. Let's talk about cards. You do not want 2 cards in your deck like this. For Emperor, we generate so many cards. It is better to constantly filter out the cards as they come for us in the deck. But however, there are cases where you can have 2 cards in your deck. Obviously, the first one is the start of the raid. When you're awakening, you'll have 2 cards ready for you. You want to keep those cards so you can immediately start. These also give adrenaline stacks, by the way. So keep that in mind. As soon as you proc the card, it's an adrenaline stack. So adrenaline on Arcana, one of the best things ever. But yeah, since we generate so many cards, we want to make sure that we're cycling through each card as soon as possible. Now, when do you not want to cycle per se? Well, let's say you have a Cull and sooner or later you get a Sovereign, right? Cull Sovereign is the best 2-card combination you can have on Emperor Arcana. If you have those, use that during an epic burst phase. However, I must say, don't hold off too long. Let's say you're mid-rotation, right? You already used like 2 skills and you have 1 skill left. Don't use your 2 cards on this 1 skill, right? Wait for the next rotation, right? So now they're all coming back up. Now use the skills, now use the cards in this rotation, right? So you can get the maximum efficiency for your skills. I hope that makes sense. Never delay, but if you have the best 2 cards, wait until just the next rotation to kind of maximize the amount of skills for your cards. Okay, next. Always use the better card last. What does this mean? If you have a ghost, for example, a ghost here and a Cull in your deck, you should be using ghost first and then Cull. Why? Well, Clown. Look at this. This will give us the most recently used card one more time. So it's a no-brainer. Why would you use Cull then Ghost? Because if you pull up a Clown, you're going to be stuck with a Ghost. I'd rather have a Cull. I mean, I don't know about you, but you know, this is a movement speed 20% versus a 100% crit rate and crit damage 50%. I'm going to take the Cull, right? So just use the last card, or the last card you use should be your best card. Next. Luckily, I have a Joy card so I can show this. You want to use this Joy card after you use Dark Resurrection and Unlimited Shuffle. You can see these cooldowns are quite high. I mean, Evoke is 2, but this is kind of the first thing you're going to use anyway. You should always start with Evoke in your combo. And Celestial Rain is a 9-second cooldown. Not a huge deal, right? So these 2 are your big damage skills that are high on cooldown. So what you want to do is, let's say you're using your skills, right? Once you use your Unlimited Shuffle, up your Joy. You see how it lowers in cooldown? That's what you want to do. Okay, we can move on because that one is very quick. Always use Wheel of Fortune on Dark Resurrection. So normally people used to use it on Evoke as well. I still do because it feels like I'm doing a lot of damage, and I'm trying to find a wheel here. This is taking forever. This is awkward. Oh, I just found one. Dang it. All right, this video is gonna go on forever, huh? Wow, they really hate wheel. Okay, cool. We got the wheel, right? So it feels good to do this. Look at 4 evokes in a row, just dot 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 dot. It feels powerful. So when I feel spicy, I'll use evoke, especially when I know I'm going to hit all 4 evokes. However, 99.9% of the time, just use it on Dark Res. Okay, apply your crit buffs, use it on Dark Res, Wheel of Fortune, Dark Res. That's it. All right, and finally, this is my last tip because this video has been going way too long. I will try to put chapters in the video so you can kind of filter through which stuff you want to see. But remember, Chancellor and Sovereign cards only focus your normal skills. Now, what does normal skills mean? It's you see how it says normal skills at the kind of like the 3rd row of the text. Normal skill. These are the yellow skills. And we can see it here. Sovereign, for example, damage of normal skills increases by 50%. Crit rate of normal skills increases by 20%. So if you pop these cards, please prioritize using the yellow skills first before anything else. For example, don't pop these cards and then start using Celestial Rain as your first thing, right? That's ridiculous. Or let's say everything is on cooldown and Celestial Rain is up. Don't use these cards. Wait until the yellows are up before you use the cards, basically. But anyway, I hope that helps. I think I'm going to post another video because this one was too long to kind of showcase me in a real, like, let's say a Guardian raid and apply these concepts. And I might do a commentary run for it so that you can see what my thought process was and how I applied all of these steps in the Guardian raid. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe and comment whatever kind of suggestions you have in the future, or kind of maybe something I've missed. If you can teach me too, hey, I'm all for learning. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye.